exist have to be named. And so as a result, one way of helping your students better understand what is going on any one given time, and it doesn't have to be specifically only in the state of Oklahoma, but it can be in the nation depending upon what the documents are. If you, for example, provided your students with a copy of a particular document, and it could be anything from a letter written by someone, and think of all the literary figures and historical figures that have populated Oklahoma in the last century. Those particular documents could be used as very effective segues into helping your students understand something more, not just about history, but about a lot of other elements in the state. So what I'm suggesting, in other words, is that when we find ourselves watching something like The Last of the Mohicans and being entertained by the sheer violence of it or by the romantic story that seems to be a part of it, how much of that story actually is true? How much of that story actually happened? What in fact can be discovered? There are several ways of discovering, and the two that I suggest that are the best are, first of all, to attempt to answer questions about issues that seem to be at best unresolved. For example, one question you might ask in terms of The Last of the Mohicans is how accurate was Cooper with his use of history in his novel, in his piece of fiction? There are any number of examples and explanations for that. Cooper, first of all, made a trip to Lake George, to the location supposedly of Fort Williams. Cooper attended a boys' school in Albany, where Colonel Monroe, the real Monroe, spelled M-O-N-R-O, not M-U-N-R-O, as Cooper spelled it, and as Michael Mann spelled it, where his grave was located. And Cooper's wife, her uncle, James Delancey, was actually a part of the Fort William Henry Massacre. So there we have three examples of how Cooper found himself tied into the actual event itself. Similarly, there are any number of real characters on which those in his novel and those in the film were based. For example, there was a Colonel Monroe, and he in fact did lead the army that manned Fort William Henry. But again, his name was Monroe, M-O-N-R-O. Similarly, there was a real Duncan Hayward, but he was not named Duncan Hayward. His name was Young. And he, too, was a young man on whom Cooper based Duncan Hayward's character. Even to the point that Cooper has Duncan Hayward come from the South, and as it turns out, Major Young, the actual real-life character that Cooper based Hayward on, also was a Southerner. Cooper used him for a very interesting reason. Because Cora was of mixed blood, and because Duncan Hayward was a Virginian, you tell me whether you think that Duncan Hayward would have been interested in Cora. No, there is no way with mixed blood and the level of race, which of course becomes a very important issue in The Last of the Mohicans, despite how Michael Mann treats it. So there are all kinds of very interesting tales, and there are a lot of other ones too.